Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Welcome, everyone. As always, this is your host, Lex, coming at you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is live. This is the RDDC, which is the Real Double Dose channel, as well as Flip the Switch FDS in your life. And that's with a DA, not THE. For any show requests, feedback, or anything under the sun, we implore you to go to www.realdoubledosechannel.com as well as www.realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, and you can check out more insights as well as our library and different updates we have, anything from anything, to www.spiritandmindelevation.com, a spirit, A-N-D, M-I-N-D, spiritandmindelevation.com. I want to have a nice conversation with you, and I think it'll be something of great depth, and I hope that it hits and resonates wherever we are in this life. Now, originally, this conversation was supposed to be just a beautiful happy birthday tribute to my beautiful, amazing older sister and only sister, at least from the same mother and father, Marcella. So happy birthday to you, sister. My sis, my munchkin, my beautiful haven, and basically kind of partly like my mom as well. I call her mom. My mom gave me to her when I was little and said, "This is going to be your baby now, Marcella." So I used to go to her for a lot of things when I couldn't get my way with the first mom. And I promised myself I wouldn't cry or get emotional on this. And I'm trying to keep my calm. I have been very emotional for the last 3 days, specifically. I don't know why it's been turning on. Even 12 something in the morning, I've been crying my tears away. But typically for the last, and this is for anybody referencing from new to RDDC or not, this was, my sister had passed away April 9th, I believe, 2018. And I had to say I believe because I know it was like 11 p.m. or 11 something when the coroner's report came back, but I went to go retrieve her body and so many other things that had to come along with it. But I also was gifted the gift of sight through God to be able to see her death exactly how it laid out, like to every detail. Before it happened, I just couldn't figure out what time it was going to happen. You can't control what those gifts are. But, to break it down and get a little deeper, I had that. And, the regrets I have is, well, why couldn't I figure out what day it was? And, why didn't I know? And I'm like, no, it was my birthday, April 9th. So it's been about roughly, 5 years? Almost about 5 years now. So yeah, when my birthday comes in April, because her birthday is January 5th, the same day this is being released or recorded, then I have to go over the moment of my birthday when I call it a murder-suicide, because I know there was other foul play involved. But also, she was chasing death for a very long time, like a lot of us do. And we say that we're not, but a lot of people who admit it, we have been chasing death for a long time, even if it's a horrible relationship or anything going on, drug abuse, drinking, whatever. It's still chasing death because there's no good quality way to come out of it. There's only two options, either down in purgatory in this life with something happening to you, or being out of this world completely. And unfortunately for her, that's what it is. And people can tell you all day, oh, it's been some time. No, it's not. It doesn't feel like that. Even when my dad passed away, God rest his soul. My brother passed away a few months after my sister. God rest their souls. And probably about 13 funerals. And this is not a sad conversation. It's a glad conversation. It doesn't feel like that. To me, at least, in my factual opinion, death feels just like yesterday. One, the ether is always rescinded back to God, so they're in the atmosphere of omnipresence. But then at the same time, we miss their flesh, we miss their physical presence, we miss their personalities, we miss the memories that we have. It's deep. It goes to the core. So when people say, yeah, it's been 15 years. Yeah, you could say I lost my parents or I lost my friend or I lost my lover 15 years ago, but it still feels, at least for most people I've talked to and myself, it just feels like it hasn't even been more than a couple months. Yeah, it gets easier to a certain point to bear, but it gets heavy. So, excuse me why I try to hold back my tears. But I want to be raw with everyone here. And it's not about just coming on professional or sounding a certain way. And like I said, 1 equals 1 million. So if this resonates with one of your hearts, that's what matters. I tried to avoid this conversation because I felt like, well, I haven't done it every year. Let me let it go. But, I needed to let this be here since you all shared it with me at the time. Maybe about several weeks after the fact. It took a lot for me to get back on air after that, standing over your loved one's bodies. Excuse me. But what I will say, I just saw, and connecting that of why those things led. My sister was a successful nurse at one of the most prestigious hospitals in the world, #1 hospital in the world, #Mayo Clinic. Yes, I've been going there for decades and decades and decades, and it's been a pretty good, phenomenal journey so far. And people from all the world, presidents, celebs, whoever, come to this hospital here in Minnesota because of what it carries. I can concur to vouch with that, but I will say that through it all, something resonated with me that like kind of compelled me to do this again, besides her spirit and my brother too. I felt the intertwining of those things when he passed. But it was a movie that came out, I don't know exactly when it came out, but it was with, I want to say, Jim Caviezel. He played Passion of the Christ, the original one Mel Gibson directed. And he played many other ones. He was a phenomenal actor, still is. So intense. I love him. But that movie and seeing the real Timoteo, the name in it, and helping him. Don't want to give a spoiler, but he was helping with child sex trafficking. Hit me to the core again. Right? That's what we go through when we have abuses happen to us. Whether we're getting passed to 17 other people or not, it's still the point where it's still the abuse. Now that led to my sister's conclusionizing. It's something I have to deal with in my personal life and different ones. And when I get the Illumination of Self book, yes, I still am making sure I can get it honed in with everything God has for me to give you. I would love for at least my RDDC families to let me know their favorite episode, and I will send you a free copy of the book printed. Minus shipping and handling. That's why I asked you to cover, but shipping and handling shouldn't be over like $7 or so, which is not bad. You could pretty much get a chicken sandwich at that price at this point, but still, I got you on a free book. Just, kind of hashtag it out. Hashtag free book Lex, and I'll give you the link, but I'll have that up on the website as well. But just to give you more insight and context of why I'm saying hashtag the sound of freedom, this is what this episode is going to be called, and maybe I'll call it Ciela. Her name is Marcella. Ciela's Haven, Ciela's Beatition or something. But I wanted to see that because I saw the light in people who still try to keep it going, who still try to keep their life force on, no matter how many times the evil in people try to snuff it out. I can't blame everything on the devil or the demons. I got to make sure I understand free will for everybody to understand that we all have a choice to do something. But I want to say from that movie, and it was a phenomenal movie, so bravissimo to those who know how to do what they do and putting that out there. It's not something we should look at and just say, oh, that was a nice movie. Oh, it's so sad. It's like, this is really happening. Why is there billions of babies missing? Why are there millions of children just gone and being slaves and not having a choice to even live? It's just off of someone else's nasty immoralities and what they want and beating them and taking whatever they want. I mean, if you're one of them listening, please get off my episode. Please get off my show. Please unsubscribe. I don't care. If you're someone who is sitting there seeing the harm of adults and children specifically, I don't want anything to do with you. If you want help with that, I would be happy to help you from afar. But at the same time, please stop what you're doing. Just stop. You're ruining someone else's life. You're hurting your life. You're doing things that you don't even know why you're doing them. Just stop the sickness while you can. Okay, I just want to say PSA right there, public service announcement. But what I will say, hashtag, when it comes down to the sound of freedom, it should be that voice that you hear very clear. It should feel the relinquishing of you coming back to those you love. And even though we can't get those who passed away and left, it's like, what are you going to do? We don't have the power of bringing that flesh back, but we have the atmospheric pressures and gliding scopes and connecting kaleidoscopes to be able to go in their ether and be with them in the spiritual presence. Life has always got options, everyone. And I want to say, what is your sound of freedom? Yes, hashtag happy birthday to my beautiful, wonderful, amazing sister, Marcella. But at the end of the day, her sound of freedom for her was being able to relinquish herself. And I don't recommend that for anyone. I'm not saying it. But her sound of freedom is being able to hear God's voice or the calling of going back to a mechanism of where she felt as though she had to go back to that situation to understand her freedom. I say, I wish she would have gave it another day, another chance, another moment. And even though I know there was other works into why she probably couldn't get help at that moment, and people did clarify it as a suicide, I know already that that person helped bring that through. But she had been on the road to her imprisonment the entire time and decided to, even from mental illness or sickness, smile on the faces of beautiful patients at the hospital, but still go back to a place of a prison and not hear the sound of freedom. We have a choice right now from you guys and you ladies and gentlemen and miniaturettes, because I know some of my audience goes to 13. You have a choice to have your sound of freedom. And it doesn't just have to be connected with sex trafficking or child abuse. It doesn't have to, but there's a core foundation as to why someone did what they did to you, and it goes on and on from them to another person to another person. It's a constant stem of craziness and psychoticness that goes on from a sickness that just doesn't stop. This is not our world. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. This is the world of the adversary and all the sickness that goes along with it. I want to put this service announcement, public service announcement, to say, what is your hashtag sound of freedom? Is it going to be to the point of where you're going somewhere and you're just making sure you go back to the situation over and over and over? Are you going to be able to put down the crack pipe? Are you going to be able to put down the cocaine or the alcohol or whatever it might be, or the vapes, whatever they call them? Are you going to be able to stop hitting on your husband or hitting on your wife? Are you going to be able to stop screaming and yelling and abusing your children, or whatever kind of detrimental things you're doing? What is it going to be? What is the sound of freedom to you? Cutting ties with those things and becoming more of the self. When you understand the self, you can't become more of you when you're still sick, because all you're going to do is create more chaos. You have to be able to relinquish those things and get them together. So come on to a master class, go on to whatever you have to, and understand there's always a better way. Hashtag the sound of freedom for me is being able to elevate and evolve about all levels and spread as much love and light as I can, and stop being so complacent when it comes down to stepping into the fuller light of what God may have me be. So I want to leave this short, sweet, and simple. And again, happy birthday to any of you who are listening right now, Capricorns, and happy blessings, or whatever else it is in this time. Happy birthday to you from all 12 months. And, no matter what you're going through, there's always someone. We're not just a platform where you hear someone's voice in there. Yeah, está, like I say, right? The Latino way. It's a place where you can reach out. Yeah, it might be immediate answers, because obviously there's things going on in life, but you still get someone here. Like, I will call you up on the phone and walk you through it. Not with a, hey, you owe me this or whatever, but I will put you to a challenge for yourself. I'm that type of person. So when you hear Lex, it's not just, oh, that's Lex, the facade of celebrity. I'm not downplaying who God put me to be here and what I've done, in offline especially, and some online. But what I'm saying is, it's not just somewhere where no one hears your voice. Because I want to help you all be the sound of freedom. Be the sound of freedom. So like I say, be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of the spirit that's always calling within you and thriving and just captivating everything amongst us. And I want you to love on yourself more than you ever have in your life. Not shopping sprees and teas and going out to dinner. That's fine and everything. But literally go dive deep in the core. And I know it might not be pretty right away, but I guarantee at the end result, after all the pain is smeared, the picture will come into frame. And the frame will come into picture. So hashtag sound of freedom. What's going to be yours? What's going to be your cutoff point? What's going to be your elevational point? What's going to be your no mores? Because I can't go back and get that beautiful, wonderful person I know. And I know millions of you and thousands of you who are hearing this can't change that either. But we can also become the extension and life force of those who felt as though they didn't have a voice, who felt as though they couldn't be heard. There's always a sound of freedom that's waiting for all of us, for the next ones to come, for the things that are happening. Don't let that opportunity go, no matter how much you feel wrapped up in what you call life. Because the fact is, we're living life so mundane and so off scale from what it was meant to be. We don't even know what life is. Life is happening to us. We're not happening to life. And we need to get those things together. We need to get them understood. And we need to be able to pass it and move it forward. any way, shape, or form, make sure you do. If you want to reach out to us, go over to Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's YANDEX.com. And as well as going over to see any of the links that we have on our SoundCloud, our Blogspot, or our website. Reach out to us, Messenger, or Facebook page. We're there. Either way, we're going to have some master classes. If 5 of you show up, that's amazing. If 500, 5,000 show up, that's even better. I know the 1 = 1 million will just completely start to just begin to multiply. We have our soul ties and entanglements coming out and so much more that'll also help you find your hashtag sound of freedom. Remember, we love you. You're amazing. Thank you for being here. Hashtag happy birthday, Marcella, and all you loved ones out there and our RDDC family. And we'll be back with you very, very, very soon.